Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to talk about step 2 in our process of creating a walk cycle. So we have already created our contact and our passing. So this is our passing and this is our contact. And we also still have our little body here, which we're going to save for later on. So hide that guy, bring back your contact. So as I mentioned, we are going to wind up creating a full walk cycle. So we need two versions of this contact. We need one where the right leg is forward and one where the left leg is forward, which obviously that means that the opposites are there. So if our right leg's forward, our right arm is back. If our right leg's back, we want our right leg forward. And obviously the same thing for our left side, which would occur because we would be obviously doing the opposites and filling in the blanks. So anyway, so let's first start off by making our copies. So we have contact here, and we have a contact copy. So we're going to change this to contact 1, and we want to label this one contact 2. Hide contact 2 for now. Let's work on contact 1. Make sure you're clicked on it, by the way. Nothing's worse than starting to do this, and then all of a sudden you realize that you're on the wrong layer. Grab a blue and a red and put them in both the circles. Here's why. If we are doing this, it's a lot easier just to quickly do this by just switching this little toggle that will switch between your colors. I want you to focus on having the right leg and right arm always as being blue, and then we'll do the reds for the left, okay? So what we're going to do is it's easier to start with the right-hand side, because the right-hand side in this case, because our character is walking in this direction, the right-hand side would be the one that's closest to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the leg first. So this is my leg that is forward, moving forward. So when we draw these lines, we are going to draw them on the top side, essentially, of the appendages, okay? Or the forward side of the appendages, if you want to think of it that way, because in this case, for the arm, it's not going to be on the top. It's going to be on the side that is facing this way. So like if we were to draw arrows out, we would want the side that is facing this direction. So for the arm, notice that, well, for the leg, notice that I am extending about halfway into the body here. This is because basically as you walk, this leg and this hip is facing this way, and really we would wind up seeing a little bit of the rear of of our person, and then down into the back of the thigh and the calf, and then the heel touching the ground. So in this case, we're also going to start halfway through up here and draw it along the arm that way. You can see that that is kind of like essentially how the shoulder comes. Don't necessarily do the round up like that. You want to like kind of like finish like that, because think of you like your armpit. Your armpit doesn't extend all the way up your shoulder. It literally stops, and then a shape of your shoulder extends out, not an actual line. So about halfway, doesn't have to be exactly halfway. A little less is better than a little bit more. So yeah, so that's your right-hand side for this first contact. Again, make sure you're on contact 1 before you start drawing. Otherwise, you're going to realize that you're drawing on the wrong one. And that's why I like starting with contact 1 anyway, because if you don't see anything happening as you're drawing, you're on the wrong layer. All right. And then you just hit undo until you're back. The next thing, we're going to flip this around. We are going to change this to red this time. Again, I am going to draw on the top side, the forward-facing side. So this side is back. This side is forward. So I want to make sure I am drawing, well, actually, it's technically, I shouldn't have drawn the arrow there. It's this side. I'm sorry. This side of the bicep is back. This side is the one that's facing forward. Obviously, since this one is like curled up, that's why we're not referring to that one. Okay. So I am going to draw along here. I am going to start up here, and I am going to draw down and then at the angle there. Now, same thing for the leg, but this time, because this would be the back side of the figure, like literally their butt, I want to start just past where that leg is crossing. And then draw on that. Now, hide this one. And what you're going to do is bring the contact 2 up. And this time, we are going to switch back to the blue because we want to do our front legs, our right legs first, and then our right arm. What we're going to do is we're going to get to that middle, and then this time we are going to do that back leg. Again, make sure you're on contact 2. Otherwise, you're not going to see your drawing. And 2, you're going to have to then hit undo in order to correct what you just did. Okay, so I'm going to draw that blue line there, starting about halfway again, because your butt of your character is over here. And here, this time, we're going to see a little bit more like the groin area because it's the back leg that is forward moving. So we see more of like the inside of the hips rather than seeing the thigh part of the hip. I mean, thigh of the character. Because this blue line is back, that means that I am going to make this arm my blue one this time. So again, we're going to go down the top portion here and then forward. Now, for your red, this time around, we are going to start behind the torso. So the torso is right here. That's around the chest. I'm going to start behind it and then come down. And then for your leg, you're going to just draw down here. And what this does is it gives us an illusion of like showing that that side is forward. We could have just done this all with white or like a lighter gray or something like that, and it has the same effect. But I want you to visually think about, hey, my arm is going forward here. I want you to pay attention to that. And we would wind up actually, once we start making, if you were to start making these a little more three-dimensional, we could add a little bit of color down here to represent the back. We would actually kind of like write a line here, and then we would have this be almost like a little bit of a darker color. If our stick figure was gray instead of a black, we would add a little black here to represent that shadow. But again, it's just a stick figure. We don't have to go super crazy with this. Now, after you are done that, this one's the first drawing for passing. We have to pay attention a little bit more because your first passing is going to depend on what your first contact one is, okay? So we're going to still duplicate our passing, and we're going to move it up, and we're still going to name them passing 1 and passing 2, just like we did with contact. But we want them in order. We want contact 1, passing 1, contact 2, passing 2, okay? But we need to pay attention to our first contact. So because in our first contact, our forward moving leg is making contact, that's the one that's going to be our pivot leg during passing. Pivot leg essentially is the leg that is the one that your body is literally pivoting on as it moves forward. So what we want is we know that that's going to be our straight leg in this next one, because this back leg, the red one, is the one that is going to be moving forward. So in this case, this one's going to be moving forward. And then in this case, this one is going to be moving backwards as we continue to move through this walk, okay? So when we are doing our first passing, we want to make sure that our blue is the first. Oh, I made the fatal error. I did not switch layers. I'm on the wrong one. I'm on contact 1. So I'm going to quickly hit undo, Command Z or Control Z, switch to this one, and then I'm going to draw my line. And you can do on the foot too. Now on the main part, and instead that's the vertical line of the fancy 4. And then on the other part of the 4, we are going to switch to our red. So again, this time it's on the top, remember, top of the thigh. And then you can continue this way. Skip where this leg is. Like, draw in your mind an imaginary line that goes up and down here, and you're going to skip that little spot for that horizontal that's there. Okay. Now, for your right arm, so since this one is starting to move backwards, remember it's in this direction. So that means that this is considered your back leg. That means that this one, the forward leg or forward arm, is going to be your blue one in this case, which we're going to trace it like this because it starts slightly back. Remember, we start around the middle, come down and over. And then for your other arm, since it's behind the back, we're going to start at the back and come down. All right. So our first passing is done. I just have to erase this little arrow that I created. So bear with me. There we go. All gone. All right. Now for passing 2, we literally do the opposite. So this time around, our blue is going to be this portion of the 4, and then the red is going to be that vertical part of the 4. Okay, so blue, make sure you're on the right layer. I'm not. I got to switch. And then this is where I start drawing my lines. This time you're going to cross over the center part as a continuous line. This time around, again, center, and draw down. That is your right arm. We're going to switch to our red this time. Our red is now the vertical line. Stop at that imaginary cutoff because of the horizontal line, or horizontal part of the leg, and then continue after. And then this one, we're going to start at the beginning of the torso, or at the stomach, at the top of the arm, and come down. And that is how you are going to distinguish between your contact and your passings. You are going to export each of these. So you are going to submit 4 images to me. Make sure before you submit your images, or export your images though, by saving them, you hide the height and waist. Actually, you don't need it visually there during this assignment at all, this part of the assignment at all. You will need it when we move to the up and down poses for the next part and portion, which I will show you in our next video. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in class. Good luck.